So we will be in live within 10 seconds. Yep, I'm pretty sure we. Kia ora, everyone. This is your host Mahfouz. Give you a warm welcome from Multicultural Youth Association of Canterbury. Tonight we do have two very important guests with us. We have Mandeep Singh. He's the spokesperson for Union Network of Migrants, and also he's the spokesperson for Indian Workers Association. And we do have Shelly Ballantine, who represent the Multicultural Labour Women Executive sector as well. Thank you very much, Mandeep and Shelly, for joining with us. And please do feel free to say our viewers very warm welcome and hi. Mandeep.
Now, thank you very much for inviting me, and welcome to the viewers who are watching us. Hopefully this is going to be an interesting discussion they can benefit from as well.
Thank you very much. Excellent. Shelly, you want to say something before we carry on?
Thank you so much for inviting me, Mahfouz. It's a pleasure to be here, and nice to meet you, Mandeep. And hopefully we can get something out of this live, right? Yeah. And yeah, we'll need to look at something that is good for everyone, I hope. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so we just before we start, today's topic is actually we want to talk about migrants' life and migrants' experience at the moment currently in New Zealand. And we just want to know from your voice as well, like especially the first thing I want to ask the both of you, that Mandeep, if you just tell me like last few weeks, what is your overall at the moment gesture throughout the whole every changes and the unsteady movements and the tension, stress? What are the outcomes you think even before we go to the main discussion point?
Sorry, I couldn't hear it properly. Are you asking what are the outcomes so far?
Yes, for last 4 weeks, what is your vibe? Like, what do you think about migrants' experience, the changes? How do you think you evaluate them?
Right. So I guess one thing COVID-19 has highlighted is that for migrants, particularly migrants on temporary visas, life is really, really tough. And we have had contacts from migrants in New Zealand and migrants stuck offshore as well, who have actually discussed their stories in a really, really sad stories, to be honest. People who are in New Zealand, many of them, for example, there was one person who had to sleep rough on the street for a few days as well because he lost the job. He was actually in between the job when lockdown happened. So he moved from Wellington to Auckland, and just before he was going to start his job, and because of the lockdown, he couldn't actually start the job. So which means he had to basically sleep on the road. And then there is the issue of migrants who are stuck overseas, who went back to their home countries to visit their family members, and unfortunately got stuck there because of the lockdown. So that's had a huge impact on their lives as well. We have heard many sad stories around that as well. So past few weeks alone has actually been a worth of many years of hardship they had gone through, and we can already see that they're actually going through far worse of hardship in last few weeks alone.
Thanks, Mandeep. Shelly, what is your experience? Last few weeks have been very unsteady, migrants' life-wise. I'm pretty sure in Southland, you have contributed a lot towards the migrant community as well. And Mandeep, from overall New Zealand perspective, we know how fast his responses are time to time, Mandeep. And also, Shelly, thank you very much that your nice and kind responses towards the migrant community. I can see every day your some of your small activities. So how are you going to evaluate, Shelly, your last couple of month experience post-COVID and pre-COVID as well? How do you evaluate migrants' experience at the moment?
Again, kia ora, everyone. For the first week, second week, third week, the ongoing lockdown was really tough, and hearing all those issues, problems from our international students and international students that has family here and children.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those migrants who are low income,
Yeah.
and most of all those Filipinos who are redundant. So it was really tough. Yeah, and I'm just giving you the first introduction of this.
Yep.
You want the whole story now?
No, I don't want the whole story. I want your summary, kind of a summary before you start the main discussion.
Okay. Well, it's pretty tough going. Yes, it's not easy to hear all those issues and concerns. And yeah, I did try my best to help everyone, and but yeah, my best wasn't that good enough. But anyhow, some of them are happy, some of them are not satisfied. But then, okay.
Yeah, that's like Mandeep. My next question to you before the viewers ask us any question, we can see the viewers are actually number of viewers are increasing. My first question to you actually for tonight that from Indian Workers Association, the role you are playing, right, as spokesperson. I have seen a current Facebook status just I think couple of minutes before actually. You are going to meet the Immigration Minister, Honorable Ian Lees-Galloway, right, in next week. So what are the issues you think you will discuss there? Like what are the responses you two need to discuss? What do you think?
Yeah. Like I mentioned earlier, that there are a lot of migrants in New Zealand who are going through a very difficult time at the moment, and for a number of reasons. And COVID-19 has actually basically highlighted how much support they actually need right now. So we need to basically send a message that they need to be treated as human beings as well, rather than as an economic transaction. So in my work as the representative of Indian Workers Association and Union Network of Migrants, I've been in this line of work for quite a few years now.
Yep.
And all this time, our aim has been to protect and promote the rights and welfare of migrants in New Zealand. So one of the things during this time, what we've been doing is actually trying to, so you might remember there were 8 powers which were allocated to the minister, which the minister.
Yes, this is the act actually now. Can you hear me, Mandeep? Yeah.
Yes, I do understand that. So what I was going to say is that when that actually came out as well, our purpose was to meet with the minister or the officials to make sure there's no misunderstanding, there's no scaremongering going around the understanding of those powers. So we quickly done that so that migrants can have the authentic information as to what those changes mean. So now at this time, when those powers are allocated, and now also those migrants who are stuck offshore and those who are here struggling, our aim is to have a meeting with the minister to discuss how we can actually support them. So at the moment, so today I've got the confirmation to meet with the Minister of Immigration next week. So the couple of things which are standing out at the moment, which I'm definitely going to be cover, is one, the issue of standard migrants in New Zealand who for even because of lockdown can't get back to their own country, but at the same time they don't have access to benefits in New Zealand like the New Zealand citizen or resident have, and under the New Zealand Social Security Act 2018.
Yeah, I just want to ask you about one specific question about that. Like it's been very, very interesting quite a few weeks. Like even our program, I have raised that issue, the Social Security Act 1964, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or Section 64.
Well, the latest act is 2018, but the section is 64.
Yeah, so we from my perspective, I have been leading some few groups as well. I really want to see Section 64 on place for the migrants. Why do you think that message has it passed to the minister already? Like, has the government know about these things at the moment, like whether they need to implement it or not?
Yeah, just quickly going back couple of things, like I mentioned, what I'm going to be discussed is one is the Section 64 and the other one is migrants stuck offshore. So coming back to the Section 64, yes, the message has gone out to the ministers. We have lobbied, we have talked to different unions as well, and the Council of Trade Union has also sent their message to the government as well. It has been on the media as well and directly been asked to the Prime Minister and the Minister of Immigration and Social Development already. So they know about this issue. So far, we've been hearing that this is under active consideration. And since we've been pushing this one, there was a support announced through CDEM, that is Civil Defense Emergency Management.
I get to know about that, yeah.
Were allocated to them, and then there's Education New Zealand has been allocated $1 million fund for international students as well. So there's a work in progress. So which means that we're already seeing the changes, but we need to see much better, and that is if the Section 64 already exists. So those who don't know what Section 64 is, what Section 64 allows is that can only be implemented during epidemic management notice. In New Zealand during COVID-19, epidemic management notice was issued by the Prime Minister already. So this is the time to activate that Section 64, which can allow migrants who otherwise don't get benefits.
So who have to implement this? The government, right? Just for our viewers. So the government have to implement this, am I right?
Well, Minister of Social Development has the power to actually give a written approval. All she needs to do is give a written approval, and the ministry need to allocate some money so that migrants can also access those benefits.
Thanks, Mandeep. My next question to Shelly, coming back to Mandeep's statement, I got two questions here, so I'm going to ask this question to Mandeep and Shelly in a quick time. But I got a question now from Mandeep's statement that Mandeep has been very clear about Social Security Act Section 64. And as we understand, it has to be implemented throughout the government process, Shelly. Now, you representing multicultural labor, am I right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So multicultural labor, of course, has a political, it's one of the political wing. Or is it a non-political wing? It's not a non-political wing, right? It's a political wing of the Labour Party, right?
It is political. I'm affiliated with Labour, right?
So,
then.
Yeah, I am building the question, Shelly. Okay, it's hard talk. Now, my actual question is coming back to Mandeep's point. So multicultural labor has to deal with multicultural diversity in New Zealand. Mandeep, I'm thinking I'm telling right? So that is how we represent things actually. So I am asking Shelly, multicultural labor is actually representing a multicultural diversity on behalf of Labour Party, the governmental party, right? Now, why multicultural labor is not so proactive, my question is, to raise up Mandeep's voice of Section 64. What are multicultural labor's contribution at the moment when it comes to implementing Section 64 and passing that message strongly to the New Zealand government and the government that is under coalition with New Zealand Labour and New Zealand First?
No, I am new. I am new in the multicultural sector, right? So I am new with the Labour Party. So
I am non-political. I'm non-political, Shelly. I have no political affiliation at the moment. So yeah.
Yes. So we are actually trying to establish this the way how we work together. The multicultural sector, we're just trying to establish how to help multicultural in New Zealand. Okay. And then Priyanka has been busy helping with the Indian community reputations. Priyanka is our leader, right?
So you're talking about MP Priyanka Radhakrishna Raman, am I right?
Yeah. She's been busy and she's been working hard for Indian community to supporting.
But just to make it clear, we're talking about everybody here. We're talking about Indians, we're talking about German, we're talking about Southeast Asians, Philippine, every nationality. So my question is again, from that political wing from the Labour Party, how proactive you people were when it comes to convey the message of Section 64?
Now, that's what I said. We are just new and we are establishing ourselves.
But
okay,
not
this
me,
is new.
I have no political affiliation. So we have a standing difference at the moment. So do we have an answer, Shelly, for an example? So can we see multicultural labor in the future talk about Section 64 in the pandemic times? Because pandemic is now. So this is the time we need your support. This is the time we need the government to understand that the fund must be created to make sure that every single person in New Zealand, including the migrants, are safe now. What is Multicultural Labour's last few month activities denoting that they have supported that cause?
That's a good question.
Very good question, as I understand.
Priyanka has been working hard, but with this section 64, it's already been there right before I know it. I didn't even realize that
it was not
coming.
implemented. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We can come back to it later. It's fine, no problem. So you can come back to it later as well. So when the discussion will
But
go
I
up
would suggest that we should talk to the right person when we're discussing these things. I can refer you to Priyanka. Priyanka could answer you with this.
Yes.
Okay.
Mandeep, one question to you from a viewer. I think it's related to immigration though. Hi Mandeep, I was in middle of residency, 12 months at the time of being redundant. So I can understand the person who sent the message, Mandeep. She got redundant while she was in the residency process. Now she is not asking a immigration question, but her question is, from Indian Workers Association and from the union migrant group that you're representing, do you have such kind of initiative to save those people who are actually about to apply for skilled migrant residency, and due to COVID-19, they are actually lost jobs and lost their positions?
Yeah, first of all, I just want to point out that this is really sad, and these are the sort of examples we are hearing day by day, that where people who were in middle of getting middle of their residency, or waiting for the decision on the residency, or were on visas, they got made redundant. This is really sad situation. But at the same time, I just want to say that Indian Workers Association, the union network of migrants which I represent, we do not get any government funding to financially support migrants. So I guess one of the difficulty we face is also the limited amount of resources we have is through our union members, because it's supported by the unions and also some of our members. So what I would like to, so far what we've been doing in situations where people have lost jobs and they don't have any income, so far the existing platforms where they can access some support are we've been told are CDEM, that is Civil Defence Emergency Management, and Education New Zealand Fund, which I mentioned earlier as well, for international students. Those are the platforms that we are referring them back to, so that those who don't know about this information, they can actually benefit through that channel. But at the moment, like I mentioned, person like this person, given that I can't give immigration advice.
No, of course not. We're not asking for immigration advice, of course.
Right now, the support that person right now needs is the financial support that can, that's why we are advocating for Section 64 of the Social Security Act.
Yeah. So I understand about the financial support. Thank you very much. But like, it's more than the financial at this stage. It's about keeping somebody's legal status in New Zealand. And of course, we are not immigration advisors or lawyers, Shelly. But my question is, how much you think from a common perspective, how much do you understand the current government is actually interested to save this community, so save this issue? Can you hear me?
Are you questioning me?
Yes, I'm questioning you. Yeah.
The government done a good job. As remarkable leader Jacinda Ardern done the best job you can ever imagine. I'm very proud to be under this leadership. Okay, so how could you how could we questions Jacinda's job? That
just to let you know, I haven't questioned Prime Minister's role.
Yeah.
I asked the question that how do you think the current government, now this is one thing we need to make sure, Jacinda Ardern, our honorable Prime Minister, she is not the only part of the government. The government belongs to everybody who are in the cabinet. So from because you are active in politics, I just want to know, how do you see your party? How do you see your party are actually keen to save this migrant's life from being into distress?
Labour Party itself,
yes.
I'm talking Labour Party, right?
Yeah.
We are looking after the migrants. We look after the people. And that's how Jacinda's doing now. This is what she's doing, showing compassion to all the people, kindness. She gave all the way. she can. Okay.
What are those? What
So
are
if
those all the ways, Shelly? Sorry, I just want to interrupt. What are all the ways, like, yeah, when, because our viewers want to know, like, we have to be a bit specific.
okay, the offshores, she's giving us hope, right? To help those people. So we try to be calm down and let us wait.
No,
I
we
think
we are very, very compassionate. We appreciate Jacinda's leadership. But I understand, Shelly, what you want to say. Mandeep, when I'm coming back to another question, it says, what are the chances of making the open visa for work visa holders? We are not immigration advisors, but we can answer that chances, opportunity. What do you think from your experience, Mandeep?
Yeah, I think this is one of the things which I'm going to be discussing with the Honorable Minister of Immigration in the upcoming meeting. But at the moment, the minister has the ability, given that and he understands already that there are many people whose visas are attached to a particular employer and location of work. Those who have lost jobs due to COVID-19, their current visa automatically becomes invalid. So now that he's got the power to vary the visa condition or extend the visa expiry dates, this is the opportunity for him to actually allow those visa holders, while they remain in the country because of the lockdown as well, and also because losing their job, they are provided with the opportunity to work in the area where there's a labor shortage. We know that in the horticulture sector, in the other areas, there will be a lot of labor shortage, and there is already there's a labor shortage in that area. It is just a matter of the immigration minister getting the settings right, and then applying those powers as soon as possible, which can benefit the migrants, but as well as the economy, because we have to make sure that we strike the balance. Because at the moment there's a growing concern as well that Kiwis are also losing jobs. So it is a matter of how we actually striking the right balance, that migrants are supported as well, but at the same time, other people don't feel disadvantaged in the process too. And I think partly because this is an election process, and the government will be very, very mindful how they actually do these things, because when elections are upon them, they know that only citizens and residents can vote. So I know that for a fact that they will be going for votes if they want to be in the.
It's a good topic, actually. Yeah, thanks, Mandeep. Shelly, coming back to the election now, I'm pretty sure you have some interesting comment to make. Just because the migrants cannot vote, of course, the temporary visa holders, they cannot actually have the voting right, right? So is that the reason? Is that the reason we are still talking about more stricter rules for the migrants, and we are not going for a detailed solution for the people who lost jobs? I know the immigration minister has the power now, but there has not been any detailing that came into the media. Shelly, any comment from you about that?
I shouldn't comment so much about these things.
No, I just want to know your comment about the detailing as a common person. Like when you wake up every day, we expect the minister to talk in detail, and you don't find it. So how do you evaluate this thing?
I want to make sure that I don't want to say so much. So
No. You just tell me from your experience, like, because we don't have the detailing, and you have been playing a very important role in the Southland. So how do you see the followers, the people they are with you? How do they evaluate this? The detailing, the lack of detailing, the lack of communication at the moment.
Okay. I just want to say first, okay, because I'm here, it's not for the capacity of my political affiliation, okay? So my capacity here as a migrant, so welcoming migrants and supporting migrants. This is my capacity why I'm here. Okay, so what I have been doing is like helping migrants to settle and leading them the right pathway of settlement, jobs and their residency. Okay, so I'm not going to be overreacting about these election things, because I am new in this political affiliation. So I'm just new and I'm learning as well.
Good.
Okay, so for me, I'm the real community workers that I don't need to have any,
Fine.
I don't have pay. I am working here with my blood and bones to help
Good.
migrants and
Excellent.
international students.
So-
Okay, so I don't have salary, so I couldn't really react too much about politicals, because I have to refer you to the right person when we have the right ministers who can answer you, and the people who are also advocate for the multicultural, for Labour Party. So for me, I'm here for the capacity as welcoming migrants in Southern and Otago.
Thank you. Thank you,
Okay?
Shelly. I will ask you the
Not
next
for
question.
all over New Zealand.
Okay, so I will ask you the next questions on your capacity, of course. Mandeep, coming to you now, a lot of offshore visa holders. I got a call today in the morning, 7 in the morning. At least there are many people in offshore and they have lost their jobs due to COVID-19 as well, and they cannot come back. Now they get to know their visas cannot be extended because they're offshore and things like that. How do you think we can give them a positive message? I want to make sure that they don't lose their motivation. What you want to say to them?
Yeah, I think, look, I have to be very mindful that I don't give them the false hope. I just want to give you one example. There's this person who recently got a 3-year essential skill visa, and he went back to India to visit his dying grandmother to pay his final respects. And then the border closure happened, and his visa expires in 2023. So which means he still got close to 3 years before it expires. But because the visa was attached to employer, it automatically becomes invalid, which is a really, really sad situation for anybody. We need to put ourselves in that person's shoes and think that he has spent so many years in this country, and suddenly just going back to visit his grandmother, and now because of the lockdown, he lost his job, and in the process, he lost his visa as well. So those are the very, very sad stories, and that's one of the reasons I'm going to be discussing these situations with the minister. But at the same time, I think this is a time that the government need to actually, the tag which they've got is the being kind and compassionate, is something they need to deliver on, because internationally this government is known to be kind and compassionate, but we need to see this in reality as well. But in saying that, there's no way, there's no denying what the Prime Minister has done, the incredible job she has done in the whole government in terms of getting COVID-19 out of our shores, and also in make sure that they lifted the benefit levels as well, that they also provided some support through CDM and Education New Zealand. But there's a lot more work to be done to actually ensure that most vulnerable people are not left behind. And those are the people, like I mentioned, are migrants.
Yeah, so coming back to that point, like the same study that I have been following, like a lot of people have invested huge time here, and the person who called me today, and he said, or he or she said to me, like, someone in the family was very sick, so he or she has to go back for some time after 4 years, and now she or he cannot come back, and their employer, because they cannot wait for unlimited time, so they're making that person redundant, and then it shows a lack of compassionate from the government as well. It shows a lack of amnesty. Now, I as a common person, Mandeep, I'm a fan of our Prime Minister when it comes to COVID-19 operation, how she handled the situation. But again, the post-COVID-19 for migrants, I don't see it really nice. I see it really having a lot of ups and downs. And I see we need to be working united and together, and to make sure that the people who are stuck offshore get an amnesty. What do you think about that?
Well, I think it's very simple. When you invest in people, you invest in the country as well. And the other thing is, if you put in realistic terms, like, you know, more people in the country, then it also helps the businesses as well to grow. So if somebody is having an Indian restaurant and there are people who are working there now stuck offshore, or there are less people in the community, it will be difficult for a business to operate and actually, you know, be a growing business. So it is a flow-on effect on everyone. So and also the international image of New Zealand as well, because, you know, these people, if they are not treated well, imagine what the message goes out to the international community, how migrants are being treated. I've been making some inquiries as to what other countries are doing. For example, in Canada, I've heard that from one of the migrants that those people who have even lost the jobs, they are also getting government support as well in this difficult time. There goes to show how much more we can do, and not only, even if the other governments are not doing it, New Zealand can lead the way. Like they have done a number of things. For example, giving women the right to first country to get
vote.
the
Voting rights,
so we can always lead even without looking at what other countries are doing.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Mandeep. Shelly, the question of leading, I'll come to you now. New Zealand have always led.
Can I add on that? Can I
Yeah,
add on
sure,
that
sure.
topic, please?
Yeah,
Because
sure,
we are not just the migrants are not the only one affected here. Everyone's affected here in New Zealand. Even the New Zealanders, the citizens, they are all affected. They are redundant as well. I know. I understand the points. I understand the points.
Now, Shelly, let me just add it. Migrants, of course, everybody is affected, but migrants cannot stay here if they're affected. Do you know what I mean? So there is it's a question about making New Zealand a home. And at the moment, the New Zealander can, of course, like it's the country, their citizens get the first preference. We understand that. But migrants who make New Zealand their home, they cannot come back. Of course, I understand why, but in the same time, they have been told they might not come back ever. Your comment.
They might not come back, but Jacinda said there is a hope that she promised, right? There is a hope. So the negative side of that, I don't want to listen to it. I'm going to look at the positive side and the hope for those migrants offshore. Okay.
So what is the hope?
Why we are not bringing them back here? Why do you?
No, we understand. We understand why you
understand why they're not coming back here yet.
I need to add it here. Mandeep, if you also like, if I just can address you as well, the reason because we cannot bring them back here because we have got arrangement of 250 people in a flight, maximum 3,000 people, if I'm not misquoting our Honorable Immigration Minister. And we agree with him. Let me tell my viewers as well. We agree, we completely agree with health, with safety, no compromise. But so we cannot bring everybody here who have the visa status at the moment. So let them give an open extension till we can bring them here. Mandeep, do you think I'm telling the right sense? I'm bringing the right sense.
I think there are a couple of things here. What we need is the clear answers. At the moment, there were times when we were hearing that New Zealanders are losing jobs and it's a very difficult. We need to keep the COVID-19 out, and that's why the border closures are important. And then we are hearing the issue of quarantine measures are not being in place. So, sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I think, yeah.
But then we were hearing the issue of COVID-19, the quarantine measures. And I think if at the moment, if there are not enough quarantine places to where they can put migrants in, they need to ensure that they are. And in return, it will also help the businesses, because there are a lot of motels, hotels, which are empty at the moment because overseas visitors, which is a heavy, very big part of New Zealand economy, are not coming into New Zealand because of COVID-19.
And they might not ever come back. They might not ever come back.
Businesses, but also, sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah, so this is an opportunity to not only help those businesses to get afloat, but at the same time, bringing back those workers who currently have the visas and been in New Zealand, spend their time in New Zealand, help the economy over the years. This is the time to show kindness and compassion.
Thank you.
Like Shelly mentioned, there's no doubt what the Prime Minister is doing, how she handled it. But at the same time, we need to make sure that one of the most vulnerable groups, i.e. migrants, are not left behind in doing so, because the whole message of during COVID-19 was let's unite to beat COVID-19. So let's unite, and that means we need to unite with migrants as well.
Thank you. Our viewers, Shubham Sharma, we just answered your question about offshore extension from Team MYSC. We demanded an amnesty till everybody can come back, and we also want to write to the minister that till all the offshore visa people who are stuck back in India or anywhere in the world, they should have a clear amnesty. Whenever in New Zealand can bring them back, they should have their visa extended. But that is only our opinion, only our capacity we can demand for. Now coming back to Shelly, from our team, I want to make sure that our statement very clear. We appreciate our Prime Minister's role. There is no doubt the whole country appreciated the way she has led, and we salute her on her way of performing. But when it comes to the government, now I'm asking Shelly Ballantine, a common migrant leader, not from your political view. So you can come out from that capacity and you can talk from our capacity now. How do you feel when our immigration minister came to a media and actually spoke about, he actually quoted that maybe he doesn't have any hope in the near future to bring back all the migrants. As a migrant, how do you feel when you see the statement in the media?
Well, I'm a little bit affected of that because I care about the migrants more, and I wish that, you know, they do something. Yeah, I'm sure we have hope here, and we can sort it out.
Can I interrupt a bit?
We can work this one in a constructive way and strategize this, work it by properly,
So,
rather than I know a lot of people have become aggressive, right?
No,
so
no, it's
I
not about
know
aggressive.
a lot.
It's not about being aggressive, Shelly. Let me just
Well,
tell you.
no, when they heard what Indes Galloway said, everyone's become aggressive straight away.
So
But
you're
that was
talking about, but let me just tell you, you're talking about hope, but we got people whose visa actually finish in a week after or maybe tomorrow. So for them, there is actually no hope. So the hope cannot come next year. The hope cannot come next year. And we lost 40% of our offshore migrant brothers and sisters. So for me as a common migrant, I want to see the hope with the implementation as immediate as possible. Mandeep, what do you think on that? Hope is enough for the migrant community or implementation?
Well, hope is what migrants are living in at the moment. But yeah, like I mentioned, you know, if there are certain barriers to accommodate migrants who are stuck offshore, then there should be an immediate effort to remove those barriers, because and the longer those barriers going to stay in place, the longer it's going to be more precarious for those migrant workers. Their future is going to be, future actually relies on getting back to New Zealand before they lose the job. Yeah. And we don't want to be in that situation. I also want to say that people who are stuck offshore, if they already got the job, they're not taking job away from a New Zealander. They already got a job. That's something we need to be very mindful of. They've already got the job, so nobody should be saying that.
No, but coming to you, sorry, Mandeep, I just need to add something here. So the migrants who already have the job, but they cannot come back. For an example, if a migrant work in a motel industry, right, and he or she cannot come back for 3 to 4 months, right? For an example, the owner or the operator of the industry or the business will not wait 4 months, right? So today or tomorrow, that person will not have a job, or that is actually happening. Yes, Mandeep.
Yeah, of course. I mean, like, you know, it's not only hospitality industry; it's a number of other industries. If they're not allowed to come back in, even the jobs they currently have, they will lose the job. And we shouldn't be playing the waiting game. Yes, there's work needs to be done behind the scenes to ensure that quarantine measures are in place, but that work needs to be expedited. The reason being, now that we don't have a COVID-19 case in New Zealand, all the other ministers who are now free from their existing workload, they should be working together in ensuring how they can get back the economy up and running, and how they can actually assist those who are stuck in the middle of it, whether it's in New Zealand residents, citizens, or work visa holders. And when we talk about uniting together, the migrants shouldn't be left behind. As simple as that.
Yeah. Now, this question to both of you. Okay, so when you talk about being compassionate, being kind, and then in the same time, we cannot save lives, save career from for a lot of people at the moment, right? We are only showing them hope. Now, let me finish the question. So I'm just going to finish the question, Shelly, sorry. So we are showing them hope, but in the same time, they are getting affected. So does it give the right message to the world at the moment, Shelly? Yes.
No, before I answer this one, you have to give me time to add for Mandeep's.
Sure. I'm giving you time. Yeah.
Okay, you have to ask me as well on my side and give me the opportunity to speak up on our behalf. Okay.
Now that question was from Mandeep's perspective, but I'm coming back to both of you.
But I would like you have to ask me if I have to add on something. Okay. Sure. Talking about the economy of this Ministry of Economic Development, Honorable Phil Telford and Inles Galloway are working together and taking the next steps to reunite all the families from offshore on New Zealand and bring them together, and they're working on that. Okay, that is the next steps for them.
When you finish, I have a question. Can I ask a question now? Yeah. So honorable ministers are working together. So, but they want to. So that's what you said, right? They want to bring everybody from offshore.
Yes.
So how they can bring everybody,
Reuniting the families, right?
families for whom?
In New Zealand.
So reuniting the families for the New Zealanders and the resident people. Do you mean to say like that? Or I'm talking about the migrant workers at the moment, to be honest. So can the ministers bring back all the migrant workers, whoever are staying wherever? Can they do that? Do we have a hope?
Okay. They are talking about taking the next step. So it means there is a hope, right? Taking the next steps means they're working something. But I am assuming that they are working for these people. They are not going to neglect anyone. I don't think so.
So what
We are
about the
compassionate and kindness.
so what
How
about the
could we
persons?
neglect everyone?
So
We
what
are
about
working
no,
to
no,
be kind.
I never said, I asked you a question, but what about the person whose visa expiring tomorrow? He or she is in offshore. How are you going to bring them back?
Okay. First thing, the border is still closed, right? Okay. We are not even 100% that we are free from the coronavirus. Are we 100% free coronavirus from offshore?
No.
Globally, the coronavirus still going, right?
Do you
So
believe the
I
coronavirus
was,
only come back? So that's a hard question. Coronavirus doesn't belong to New Zealander citizens, residents, or
yeah, it's
is a
global.
global pandemic. So how can the border is closed? Mandeep, this question to both of you. I will come to Shelly first, and I'll ask you the question again. We're talking about the Avatar film cruise. So how can they have been allowed inside the country and not the people who actually need to get their life back? What is your comment about that when the border was closed? Shelly.
It's better to be safe.
It's better to ask the question and get the answer.
Can you say that again, please?
I'm saying, how can the Avatar film cruise have been able to land in New Zealand and not the migrant workers? They have been neglected and they have not been listened. It's not me. It's everybody staying in the country. I'm just raising the voice for everybody in the country, every migrant worker in the country.
This is very tough question for me, Maposor. And
No, I'm
sometimes
just
we
asking a
need to be
common
careful
question.
because I don't want to hurt anyone. As you know, we care about people, we care about migrants. So we don't need to just assuming answers that this is it. And I don't want them to think bad or become more aggressive. This is the story and why they are not here in New Zealand and why this one. I cannot just do, everyone's working, right? The governments are working, they're doing something. Labour Party doing something. Jacinda's working hard for this.
We never denied the fact. We never denied the fact the Prime Minister is not working hard. We always told we appreciated it. Mandeep, the question is for you. There's a comment from a viewer. They are treating offshore migrants as like we have done some crime, as there was no sign of this pandemic. I know the viewer personally. That's a different thing. What do you think? Why this kind of treatment? Now the viewers are saying they have been feeling like they have done some crime just because they went to India. What is your comment?
I think a week or so ago, I made a comment in one of the media story I've done where I've said that and the migrants shouldn't be treated as invisible, just like the virus. And they need to be treated as human beings, not just like just a commodity. And they need to look at ensuring that those lives, it's not sometimes more often it's not only one life, it's the lives with, along with that is the family members of those migrants as well. So it takes a huge toll on the whole family as well at the same time. So yeah, of course. And also coming back to the previous comments you made about the Avatar crew, yes, I'm like, even one of the comments I heard the minister make in the media was that it adds economic value to the country. Whereas also, and they were granted that
and let me tell you, this is very lame. Let me tell you, this is very lame. Yeah.
Well, I understand that, but what I mean is that it was said that it was because of they got the economic exemption through the process. And the thing is that migrants also add economic value to the country. And the other thing is the Avatar crew is not going to stay in New Zealand for forever. Then they're not going to create permanent jobs for the future, for a foreseeing future. So if we are looking at permanent jobs, creating permanent, unless they're creating permanent job for the future, then it defeats the purpose, because migrants are the one who have been helping lifting the economy over the years. It is important that we invest in them rather than, yes, I mean, like, if they're adding value to the New Zealand economy, that's fine, but at the same time, don't ignore the migrants who have also done the same.
Yeah, sure, thank you. Shelly, do you have a comment on that? Like, do you want to proceed your comment on that?
I agree with him. Okay, I'm supporting the migrants, no question with that. Okay, when it comes to helping these people, we can strategize things, and perhaps we can talk to the right person, and hopefully they can work straight away. You know, it's just I cannot disagree more with Mandeep, because he's working to support these people who are struggling, and it's very affecting, you know. And then so why we cannot just debate, but what we can do is we have to, I think we should collect all those people's name, and we're going to talk to someone who can assist us. Yeah.
Thank you. Mandeep and Shelly, like, just before I go to the next part of the question, I just need to tell my viewers, like, how contributed roles you two have, played for over the years for the migrant community. And I want to thank both of you for your wonderful cooperation. Like, but this program is about hard talk, so we're going to have some hard question. So I hope you understand, like, the format of the question as well. Now, this question is to Mandeep. Mandeep, when you're going to meet the immigration minister, so can we have some hope that we can raise the people who stays onshore and get redundancy? Can you tell him or advise him or suggest him, not advise, suggest him to bring some advocacy for those people? Like, any idea that how you're going to respond onto that?
Yeah, well, like, one of the things we often focus on is the grassroots issues, hearing the voices of the migrant and then raising those voices as reasonably as possible. We need to also strike the balance as well when we do so that it is not just one-sided, but it's looking at from all the angles of the issues. So that is one reason why we looked at the Section 64 of the Social Security Act, and that is also the reason we are advocating for open work visas for migrants. That's also the reason that we are talking about the migrants stuck offshore as well. So in terms of the meeting with the minister next week, yes, there will be a question around how, because the minister now has got the power to assist those migrants who will be adversely affected if they were to be made redundant or they are already been made redundant. So it is how the minister is actually looking at assisting those with the powers he's now got. So that's something which will certainly be on the is one of the discussions I'm planning to have with him.
I got the case I just saw today. A couple of people have emailed me actually with their very sad lives, like their heartbreaking stories, and not stories, I would say experience. As I said, they went back home to see somebody who is sick in their family or got medical attention, and suddenly they get to know they cannot come back. They lost their jobs. Now these are the people. They haven't become Mandeep or Shelly, the migrant worker in day one. They came here as a student, invested money and resources here, and with their money, New Zealand economy has increased, Mandeep and Shelly. Now suddenly, our education minister, after the border closure, want to bring 5.1 billion, if I quote the right amount. This 5.1 billion student will add some more amount to the essential skill work visa criteria and things like that. So now you are not bringing back the people who deserve to come back at the very beginning, but you want to bring back the people who will pay the full fees. What is your comment, both of you? I'll come to Shelly first, and then I'll come to you, Mandeep. Shelly, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
It's a bit tough question. Yeah.
Should I go to Mandeep first?
Yeah, Mandeep, you can go first. Mandeep, it's a bit tough question for me.
Yeah, look, to be honest, this is a topic where I've been working extensively on with our team, and this is a topic where we have been working on for quite a few years. and that goes back to 2016 or 15 when we started a Stop Education Trafficking campaign. The campaign was around because we saw that education was used as a pathway to residency. It was used as with a lot of offshore education agents who are not required to be licensed, were misleading a lot of the young lives in the developing countries to bring to the developed countries like New Zealand, where they would pay 3 or 4 times more fees as compared to the local student. And when they come here, there's a site, and they were institutes which are like 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, or three room sort of.
I will exactly tell you. If you we have done a kind of a program with a couple of weeks before with Alistair McClement, the lawyer, and I have actually showed him some reference where the institute do not even have a washroom.
Like to be honest, the work this work we've been doing, we have seen similar stories. So similar stories like you mentioned, there wasn't even a washroom. They were even the teachers were not competent enough to provide the education, and there were a lot of dodgy practices were going on. So we started the campaign Stop Education Trafficking, Stop Playing with the Lives of Young People. And then Labour government came on, and then they started shutting down one by one these dodgy education institute, which is the right thing to do. If they're not fit for purpose, close them.
Completely agree.
But the thing with that is, in the process, what happened was they actually closed those education PTEs. But what happened after that, those who were studying in there, they were simply left stranded to look for their own options. And that wasn't the right thing to do. They need to ensure their voices are heard. And we had to hold a lot of strikes, and we got good outcomes after that.
No, I have actually seen some good work there. Because I work for the industry, Mandeep. I have been teaching in the same industry for last near about 6 years now.
What I wanted to say was there was a cycle of exploitation. So the exploitation from the education agents, then it was from the PTEs, and then from the employers, because those desperate people who have paid so much in the fees and they were already misled in the past, they come here now, they don't have an option to simply go back to the country because they've already invested so much, and the only option then they left with is to work for an unsurplus employer who actually is looking to exploit them.
Yeah, no, that's a very good comment. Shelly, you want to make some comment about that? You have been a greater part of the Southland, have seen institutions doing educational practice.
Sorry, one thing I forgot to mention is your question related to that. And the question was around this $5 billion industry now.
Yeah, please.
How can they be allowed? The thing is, the government's answer to is that universities can look at the quarantine measures for them. But the thing is, those people who haven't been in the country, you are planning to bring them to the country. What about those who have already been in the country? They just went to visit their families back home.
Exactly. That is my point. That is exactly, Mandeep, my point. So people went to, please.
And the second thing with this, where they're going to get the jobs if there are no jobs over here, where the new people are going to get the jobs when you're saying that Kiwis are losing jobs as well, where they're going to get the jobs? But they are people stuck offshore, they already got the jobs. You need to just bring them home.
So Shelly, interesting the Mandeep's comment. Do you want to make any further comment on that? So what Mandeep has meant, there are already people who studied here, went back home, cannot come back, and you just try to bring new people so that the economy can be boosted up. How compassionate and fair this is.
Well, the economic is down at the moment, as we know, I think the recovery will be after a year. Most of New Zealanders already lost job. So it's really tough situations, I say,
So if it's really tough situation, of course, I understand. But our question was again, do you want to bring, as a common person, do I want to see new migrants coming up when there are migrants who invested here and cannot come back?
Oh, we are here, we talk, we're not going to debate, but we have to look at something, what we can do for them. So that's why I'm here.
Okay. So can you please convey the message to Multicultural Labour whenever you guys have a meeting or, some gathering or official arrangement?
Okay. Added to Mandeep story about international students, I know all of this and I don't like to discuss. That's why I'm here, to welcome them and trying to support them to pathway to get experience and to help them to get a job, which is I have
Where
done
is
a
the
lot.
job? But Shelly, where is the job? Like, where is the job?
Experience and helping them and giving them references and experience. The way they involve with me and giving them voluntary work, they're working and participating within the community. That's what I do. And then help them to get the job. Okay, from the starting job. It's not easy for them to get the job, the right job that you wanted. But then I have a good story here that they start from scratch and they become the manager and they become the analyst here, which is, I know them from the very beginning, how they started. I know what's the story before they come here, how many percentage they get it from their tuition, or how many percentage of money they get in from the agent from overseas and come over here. I know all about this. Okay, so that's why what I've been doing, I help them to be part of this community and then assisting them to get a job, experience, exposing them. And when they are ready, I am ready to help them,
So
giving the
when they are
guidance
ready
to be part of this community, to contribute back. And this
Excellent.
is the successful story of the international student in Chicago.
Excellent, thank you. But when they're ready, if they go back to India, there is a pandemic, they cannot come back. How are you going to help them?
Now as I've said, we strategize everything and talk to the right person. Okay, Mandeep, we're going to talk to ministry in this Galloway, which is the best thing to do.
Mandeep, when you talk to when you're going to talk to the minister next week, what will be your focus point? Like, is it going to be focus point about the Indian migrants, or are you going to focus on the whole migrant situation at the moment?
Yeah, so just to clarify, part of my role is that I'm actually the coordinator of Union Network of Migrants, which actually represents the whole migrant workforce, not only Indian migrants. Indian Workers Association is one of the sub networks of Union Network of Migrants, because we also got Migrante Aotearoa, which is for Filipino migrants as well, then Pacifica for Pacific migrants as well. So we do have a different range of sub networks to allow migrants of particular ethnicity to actually approach us in a much more comfortable way. So yes, when we meet with them, the issue is not going to be targeted on Indian migrants, because it doesn't affect only Indian migrants, it affects the migrant community as a whole. And just to say to Shelly as well, like, more than happy to work with you as well to take the issues to the government, so that we can actually get good positive results, not only for migrants, but for New Zealand as a whole, for New Zealanders as a whole as well. It's all about being collaborative.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Mandeep. Now, that is a very good perspective. I got a question. Why students will come and give their money, skills hard? So I'm just reading the question as it is. So it's not my opinion. Why students will come and give their money, skills, hard work to the country which government doesn't care about? After taking the money, and again, if something happens again, the future government will treat migrants same as now. Any comment on that, Mandeep?
Well, they've been respective governments. There was national, which treated migrants as commodity, to be honest, to bluntly put, because they opened the borders to allow a lot of them to, even without going through the IELTS exams. And that was to boost the economy after the global financial crisis in 2008 or so. So that resulted in a lot of exploitation of migrants as well. And in return, it also exploits the whole system. So it's not a fault of the migrants, it's the fault of the system that needs to change. And then the other thing is that now going forward, how we learn from those things, how we actually treat migrants better, that's something we need to do. And I think Labour government can do it. And it is just a matter of putting things in practice. For example, the kindness, compassion, it's a big badge. When we talk about kindness, compassion, it's not only limited to the rules and regulations. It is actually about putting in the humanitarian sort of aspect to it. And when you put a humanitarian aspect to it, you can make a lot of good things for people struggling, especially the ones who are last in line, and that is migrant workers and other people.
Coming back to humanitarian, Mandeep, there was the government is not only Labour, it's a coalition government, right? So how do you and your group of Indian Workers Association or the Union Migrant Group evaluate New Zealand First statement from the Deputy Prime Minister and some other MPs as well. What is your views about that?
Well, this is not the first time that we openly criticize what New Zealand's first stand for. We call them racist. We openly call them racist because they have been racist on a number of occasions. Whether it's about partnership visas in the past, when Shane Jones made a comment about Indian community, and then he talked about the international education ruined by Indian students coming from Delhi. There was whether you talk about that targeting racist community.
Yeah, I can actually quote. He said whole New Zealand is becoming a New Delhi. That was actually
so for a minister of such a high profile to make comments like that is certainly not acceptable and bluntly racist, discriminatory. The only thing we should be doing is making sure that we don't vote for them. Don't allow racist politician to come back in the government. And it appears with the current figures that if in the election year we have a same figure where Labour is sitting at around 49%, the chances of New Zealand First even be part of the government won't be. That's like next to zero.
We still have national though. Like we need to calculate that.
Yeah, well, I guess look, we can't with the elections we can't rule anyone out. But at the same, if you look at the current figures, national doesn't stand a chance. But look, it's anybody's case.
It's anybody's game, yeah.
Yeah, but
as you know, migrants have nothing to do with the election anyway, because migrants cannot vote. That is another thing. But
yeah, I'm like one thing I do want to clarify is regardless of whether which government it is, we have always advocated for migrant rights, regardless of what government it is. It doesn't mean we can't hold them to account. For example, right now as a Labour-led government, we do still advocate for migrants as much as we can.
Yeah, Shelly, coming back to Mandeep's point, when he says Shane Jones and Deputy Prime Minister's New Zealand First statement, Mandeep, if I'm quoting you right, racist. Am I right?
Of course. Yeah, of course.
So, Shelly, how do you think the most compassionate Prime Minister in the world, Jacinda Ardern, our Honourable Minister, is still allowing the racist coalition partner in the Parliament? Just for politics? Is it just politics?
I don't want to comment about this, because this is a coalition government, and then they are united and they work together.
They work together. Sorry, no, I don't think they work together, Shelly.
They work together
Prime
for
Minister
decision making for government.
No, I have to interrupt you. Sorry, our Prime Minister says she's giving some hope. And the New Zealand First, the other party in the coalition, they are telling us to go back. So how can this is working together?
As we work on the racism campaign, we don't need to react, right? If you
this is racism, we have to
if you want to say it's a racism, so give nothing to racism, right?
Yeah.
So you don't need to react, right? Give nothing to racism. So professionally talking, we don't need to. Please, I don't want you to be affected. Yeah. So you know what I mean? I am different person and I don't build the way you
No, I'm just asking your opinion. I'm asking your opinion, Shelly. I'm not asking government's opinion.
For me, I respect the Treaty of Waitangi of New Zealand, okay? And I don't want to get involved in whatever they say. So, but for me, we do something, as I've said, we don't need to react to racism.
Thank you very much. Mandeep and Shelly, thank you very much for coming today. And just before we finish, I just want to say there have been bitter questions here. I'm really sorry, but that is the question coming from the audience. So I'm just reading as it goes on. But let's to say that we have to work united, and we have to make this country better, irrespective of what government doing or irrespective of what party coming into the power. But at the moment, I urge to both of you from your position, can you please make sure that our message is conveyed? Mandeep, just before you finish, give us a message, please.
Yeah, I just want to say that, we do acknowledge what migrants are going through. Just like everybody else, migrants are actually going through even tougher challenges at the moment. And we are strongly going to be already advocating, and we will be continuing to advocate for them. But one thing I do want to say is, going forward, a message to the viewers is that while if there are employers who might be taking advantage to of this situation, trying to go through a redundancy process with you, make sure that they follow the process. Otherwise, you will have the right to raise a personal grievance and raise a grievance as unjustifiable dismissal if they don't give you the proper consultation process. That includes giving you the right to have a representation, giving you the right to provide a feedback on the consultation process and on the redundancy process. Make sure that you have all those things done. If the employer is simply terminating your employment because of the COVID-19 crisis, that's not good enough. The employment law still stands. They need to follow that law. So please make sure that is done, because we know that many employers are already doing it, and they might try that on you again in the future as well.
Yeah, thank you, Mandeep, very much. Shelly, just before we conclude today's program, do you want to make a comment about to all the viewers, please?
We shouldn't be losing hope, because you guys, Mandeep, are working, and we are working, and we try our best to support, and hopefully we can sort out these things together. And that's why we're going to unite to go on a recovery, as unite for recovery, right? So hopefully we can unite and work together to help them.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Shelly. Thank you very much, Mandeep. And we appreciate your role. Indian Workers Association and International Women's Network from Shelly. I can see the progress that you guys are doing. I can see the contribution you're doing. And I, from my team of Multicultural Youth Association of Canterbury, giving our heartful congratulations to you. And we want to thank you. We want to say, keep the good work going. And Mandeep, especially, I'll be looking forward for your meeting to the Immigration Minister next week. And please do not forget to update us as well. Thank you very, very much for coming to our show. And if you just press leave the meeting, I will just continue with my viewers now. Thank you very much.
I would say congratulations to you. And then now your mission, you go along, and then you did well.
Thank you. Thank you, Shelly.
Well.
Thank you, Shelly. Thank you, Shelly. Thank you very, very much. Your support means a lot.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mandeep.
Thanks.
Keep in touch. Cheers.
Thanks. Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mandeep,
Bye.
all the best for the meeting next week.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And one thing, Mandeep, I want to tell
Mandeep.
you that all the people from the migrant community do follow both of you. So thank you very much for coming tonight. And I will meet you guys somewhere when I can meet. All right. Shelly, if you just press the leave the meeting. So viewers, we had a quick chat. The program length was not too big tonight because of the other commitments from Shelly and Mandeep. So we have to finish it quickly, but I am here and I want to make certain comments about our standing. Number one, those who are watching me at the moment and our group, we have made it very, very clear from Multicultural Youth Association that the migrants who are stuck overseas at the moment, we are going to submit a petition to the minister about making a common amnesty so they can come back. So they should have the opportunity to have their visa extended. Remember those migrants, whoever stuck offshore, this means they have invested a lot of time here, right? They have studied here, they have worked here. So it's all about their life, their dreams and things. So New Zealand as a country is very compassionate. But of course, now, if I say whether that amount of hope coming from the government is enough, my personal opinion is no, it is not enough. But in the same time, what our group is planning to talk to each and every single individual who got affected, get their experience, get their comments from whatever their situation at the moment. And if you just write a comment here or write text messages to us, that will do as well. And me personally, if you ask me what is my orientation, what is my idea about what is going to happen next few weeks, we are very, very hopeful that we will be talking to key personals, including the minister as well in the near future, to make sure that the offshore and the onshore people who got affected, the migrants who got affected, can actually get their life back. It is very, very important not to treat anybody badly, not to treat anybody with a discriminated way of vision. And it is very important to give everybody's life back. Now, what I want from you people, like the support, the way that Team NYSC have been formed, I want you people to write to us. Now, I have a very special announcement in this Sunday, a day after tomorrow. We are coming back with some heart-touching stories. from different migrant groups and people. We're going to bring a migrant face in front of you, and we'll listen to that person what exactly happened. If we have to talk to the government, if we have to talk to the people sitting in the parliament, it's very important for us to know what exactly happened. So please be with us. That program is going to be our special edition of Heart Talk, episode 7. It's going to be broadcasted this Sunday, 8 p.m. New Zealand time, which is 2 p.m. India time, and 3 p.m. Pakistan time. So if you just have a look on our schedule on the Facebook group and let us know. Now, those who are watching me, can you please write your comment if we have successfully given all the question answer? If not, we may be able to convey the question to our later episodes as well. And as I said, this episode was a short one because of Mandeep and Shelly's different commitment. But hopefully the next program we are going to bring it a bit more reluctant way. And I got a comment, thank you for your support. At least someone is thinking and talking about us. I don't know whether you meant me or Mandeep. Smital Patel, if I can read the name. Is it me or is it Mandeep or is it the group? Like, I'm not too sure. If you just write it, I'll be specifically, I'll be able to tell you. Oh, thanks. So another comment I got, you're doing good. I don't want to do good. I don't want to do good. I just want to do the right thing. I just want to make sure that me, Mahfouz, my group, team NYSC, we are with you every time and we are with you no matter what happens. I have no political affiliation. I have no political orientation. I have no benefit to look for apart from every single migrant brother and sister to come back in New Zealand, have their job out. So thank you very much for watching me. I will catch you guys on Sunday. Again, I have to repeat that time as well. Sunday, 8 p.m., which is today is 6th, right? Today's 12th. So we will be seeing you on 14th of June, 8 p.m. New Zealand time, which will be pretty much 2 p.m. New Zealand time. We will bring some different migrant faces to talk what exactly happened to them, to convey the message to the New Zealand government, and just to tell them this is not what we want. But of course, we are in New Zealand, we want to work together, we want to make sure that everybody's life is sorted. And from me, my group, Team NYSC, everybody who is watching me, I'm not a big person. We are not a big person. We are not a big community, like for an example, at the moment. We are not big in numbers. We want your support. We want your love. We want your compassionate thinking. And we want you to join us for the greater benefit of the migrant community. Just before I finish, I have a request. Please be united. Wherever you are, if you are in New Zealand, if you're in India, if you're in China, Germany, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, wherever you are watching me, make sure that we are one group, okay? So never think, okay, I am in New Zealand, I am safe, so that I'm not really bothered about whoever stay outside. No, this is not our intention. We actually want to think all of us working together, and that is our own intention. So for my program, I don't do any makeups, I don't make any setups. It's all who I am, it's what I am, it's who I am, and it's how Team NYSC believes. But anyway, thank you very much for watching us. We'll catch you again on 14th June, 8 p.m. New Zealand time on Sunday evening. Thank you very much, and I wish you a very happy weekend. I wish the future will be good, and I wish that from our group, Team NYSC, we can always speak that what you believe and what I believe. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a very nice weekend and stay safe, stay well. Thank you.